Alright, Popeye's chicken, look out, because I'm taking you to the next level. Welcome back, and let's get started by making our own Cajun seasoning first. We're going to start off by using 2 tablespoons of paprika. Followed up by 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of white pepper, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of cayenne powder. Give it that kick. And just a little bit of salt here, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. Once you got it all together, give it a good mix. We're just going to set it aside and we'll use it a couple times in the recipe. So let's go on to the next step here. Using a large measuring cup, I'm using a 4-cup measuring cup. I'm going to pour out 2 cups of buttermilk. And then I'm going to add 1/4 cup of dill pickle juice, saving the pickles for later. 1/2 cup of Louisiana hot sauce, whatever brand will do. So let's separate 4 egg whites. So the egg whites are just one part of the recipe that's going to give the crust a real crunchy texture. So just separate those yolks, add the egg whites to the buttermilk. Now let's add some spices. 1 teaspoon of MSG, the flavor enhancer. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And of course 1 tablespoon of your homemade Cajun spice. Nice big heaping tablespoon. There you go. So let's mix this well and set it aside for the next step. Okay, I've got my chicken washed and now I'm going to pat it dry. I got about 10 pieces here. 5 drumsticks and 5 thighs. I'm going to pour my buttermilk mixture all over the chicken here and mix it in well to make sure it's all covered, all the nooks and crannies. Okay, now that's done, let's just go ahead and put it back in the refrigerator to let it marinate for an hour, or longer if you have time. When the chicken is ready, let's prep the flour here. I'm going to sift 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. The cornstarch plus the egg whites is going to give it a really good texture. Now let's add 2 tablespoons of your Cajun seasoning. And 1 more teaspoon of the flavor enhancing MSG. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And then let's blend it all well. Now that everything's ready, let's go ahead and set up the station. I got my spice flour mixture, the marinated chicken which I've let come up to room temperature, and I'm going to use a sheet pan with a rack. It's really ideal to have a rack. Lets the air flow from underneath. 1 hand is for the wet mix, 1 hand is for the dry mix. I'm not going to really take off the excess. I'm just going to make sure I put it in the flour and cover it up nicely, and then I'm going to push down really hard to make sure it gets a nice thick coating of that spicy flour. Just give it a little bit of a tap. I'm not looking to shake off all the flour. And then just keep repeating for the rest. Okay, now we want to let our chicken sit for about 20 minutes. Plenty of time while the oil is heating up to 340 degrees. Work in small batches, 4 pieces at a time. The temperature will drop, but you're going to want to make sure you keep it around 325. I like to turn my chicken every 2 to 3 minutes to make sure it doesn't burn on one side. And after about 10-12 minutes and you've reached the internal temperature of 165, go ahead and pull it out and put it on a paper towel and let it rest. It'll continue cooking while it's resting. While maintaining that 325, let's go ahead and do the other batches. All done, doesn't that look great? Okay, so we only have a few things left to do. For the finishing touch, let's take some of that Cajun seasoning and just go ahead and give it a little bit of a sprinkle. That'll really kick up the flavor just one more notch. Now you could serve this as is right now, or you could serve it with a dipping sauce, like Louisiana hot sauce. I'm using my friend's brand. He sells it online. I'll leave a link in the description below. So let's dig in and hear that crunch. So tasty. Sorry, Popeye's chicken. Well, until the next time, I'll see you in the kitchen.